The voices of the void. Dr. Hassan Patel sat alone in the midnight quiet of the deep space listening station, processing another batch of cosmic background radiation data. After 15 years of searching for extraterrestrial signals, he'd grown accustomed to the hiss of empty space, until he heard the voice. At first, he thought it was equipment feedback, a ghostly whisper buried in the static. But when he isolated the frequency, he heard it clearly. "Help us. We're still here." The voice spoke English, but with an odd resonance, as if coming from inside a metal drum. His equipment showed the signal originated from somewhere between Proxima Centauri and Alpha Centauri, a supposedly empty stretch of space. That's when he noticed the timestamp on the signal, February 15th, 2047. The same day the stellar dawn, humanity's first interstellar mission, had vanished without a trace. What would you do if you heard voices from a lost spacecraft? Would you tell anyone, knowing they might think you're crazy? Hassan spent 3 months verifying the signal before telling anyone. He created a new algorithm to filter the cosmic noise, revealing more voices. A woman describing floating through crystalline structures, a man counting endlessly in multiple languages, a child asking about their mother, fragments of songs and prayers in various languages. He recognized some of the voices from the Stellar Dawn crew manifest, but others were unknown, speaking languages from different eras, some long dead. How would the discovery of people trapped between dimensions change our understanding of death, space, and time? What theological and scientific implications would arise? Working with quantum physicist Dr. Sarah Chen, Hassan discovered patterns in the voices. 1. They grew stronger during specific astronomical alignments. 2. Each voice existed at a unique quantum frequency. 3. The speakers seemed aware of each other but couldn't interact. 4. Time moved differently for each voice. 5. New voices appeared regularly. They developed a theory. Certain points in space acted as quantum catchments, trapping consciousness between dimensions when ships or spacecraft passed through them. Would you volunteer to attempt communication with the trapped voices if it meant risking becoming trapped yourself? What questions would you ask them? Hassan built a quantum resonance transmitter to communicate with the voices. The first response came from Dr. Emily Martinez, the Stellar Dawn's quantum engineer. "We didn't disappear. We transcended. Our bodies dissolved, but our consciousness remained. We're not alone here. There are others. So many others. Some have been here for centuries, some for millennia. We're in a place where space and time overlap. We can see everything." But each communication attempt had consequences. Electronic devices near the transmitter began picking up fragments of lost conversations. People reported hearing whispers in empty rooms. The barrier between dimensions was thinning. How would society react to proof that consciousness can exist without bodies? What would this mean for our understanding of death? Hassan and Sarah mapped the network of voices. Ancient mariners lost in the Bermuda Triangle, pilots who vanished in the Pacific, astronauts from failed Soviet missions, future explorers from missions not yet launched, beings that were never human at all. They discovered that the quantum catchments formed a pattern, a vast network of dimensional weak points throughout space. The Stellar Dawn hadn't blundered into one by accident. They'd been mapping them. If you could communicate with beings from different times and dimensions, what would you want to learn? What knowledge would be most valuable? The voices began sharing an urgent message. The catchments were expanding. Each communication weakened the dimensional barriers further. Soon, the boundaries between normal space and the void would collapse entirely. They had 3 options. 1. Stop all communication, leaving the voices trapped. 2. Continue research, risking dimensional collapse. 3. Find a way to rescue the trapped consciousness. But the voices weren't asking to be rescued. They were warning about something else approaching through the weakened barriers. something that had been waiting between dimensions for eons. Would you risk unleashing an unknown cosmic entity if it meant potentially saving trapped human consciousness? How do you weigh individual lives against potential global catastrophe? The entity revealed itself gradually through the voices. Ancient civilizations had called it the Void Weaver. It fed on consciousness itself. It had created the quantum catchments as traps. The trapped voices were its preserved food source. Earth's dimensional barrier was its next target. Hassan realized the stellar dawn hadn't vanished by accident. They'd sacrificed themselves to warn humanity. But in trying to hear their warning, he'd weakened Earth's defenses. How would you fight an entity that exists between dimensions? What sacrifices would be worth making to protect humanity? Sarah discovered that the quantum frequencies of human consciousness could be harmonized. If enough minds thought in sync, they could strengthen dimensional barriers, free trapped consciousness, potentially seal the Void Weaver away, but it would require a global effort, billions of humans focusing their consciousness in perfect harmony. And the voices would have to sacrifice their preserved state to provide the quantum template. Would you trust humanity to work together to face an interdimensional threat? How would you convince people to participate? Hassan developed a quantum resonance cascade. 1. The voices shared their quantum frequency. 2. Global communication networks broadcast the harmonic 3. Humanity focused as one consciousness 4. The dimensional barriers began to shift. The process would either save Earth or tear reality apart. 10 years later, Hassan sits in his listening station, monitoring a different kind of signal. The quantum harmonics that humanity learned to generate have become a new form of cosmic defense and communication. The voices are gone, but they left humanity with a gift: the ability to perceive and navigate quantum dimensions. Earth has become part of a larger network of conscious beings, all working together to keep the Void Weaver at bay. In the quantum static, Hassan sometimes hears echoes of those first voices, not trapped anymore, but free to resonate across dimensions. Humanity's consciousness has evolved, aware now of its place in a much larger, stranger universe. The moral of this story is, the void between stars isn't empty. It's filled with consciousness, connection, and ancient threats. Our greatest strength lies not in the technology we build, but in our ability to unite our consciousness in the face of the unknown. 1. What is the true nature of consciousness and its relationship to physical reality? 2. How does the possibility of preserved consciousness change our view of death? 3. What responsibilities come with discovering advanced cosmic phenomena? 4. How do we balance scientific curiosity against potential risks? 5. What role does collective human consciousness play in our survival? 6. How do we maintain humanity while evolving beyond traditional human limitations? 7. What is the true nature of the void between stars?